My name's Terry Entler. I am the president and CEO of Healers Petcare. I started this company a few years ago after my dog and I went on a hike, and I looked at his paws and all 4 pads were pretty much gone. When I took him to the veterinarian, they wrapped his paws in gauze and cleaned up his pads and told us that the treatment was I needed to unbandage him twice a day, soak his paws, and rebandage to keep him protected for the next 6 to 8 weeks. Well, I went to every pet store in the world trying to find a way to make that home care easier. None of the boots breathed. They were difficult to put on. So being an engineer and a creative source, I went down to my sewing machine and I sewed up a bunch of dog boots that would breathe and that would help the healing process as well as protect the paws. And when I took our pet back to the veterinarian, they were just amazed how quickly the paws healed. I decided to create our first product, Healers Medical Dog Booties, and a year later we took them to market. A dog's paws get injured is one of the most common injuries a veterinarian sees. Dogs are pampered these days. They're in the house, they're walking around. One walk around the block and they'll come back with a torn pad. You have extreme temperatures, heat, extreme ice, all that can damage a pad, as well as the chemicals on the ground, that just the salt and stuff they use to melt the ice. They get injured quite frequently, and you have to figure out ways to treat them or protect them in some way. Our medical dog boots are designed, one with a very high-tech medical grade material, much what they use in the human markets for human wraps when we are injured. It breathes, it wicks away any type of moisture that might build up around that wounded area, and it has some antibacterial properties so that it helps reduce any opportunity for infection. And so the nice thing about using our medical boots rather than trying to use gauze is that it opens up very wide, you slide the paw in, it wraps around, and it has a very high tensile strength hook on it, so it hooks, it grabs, and it stays where you put it. We have a gauze insert that fits right inside the boot. It's custom to that boot size. It has adhesive on the back so you can put it on the top or the bottom, and it has a non-adherent coating on it so it won't stick to the wound while it heals. So by using the gauze and the boot, you've just created a non-adhesive bandage that's very easy to apply, take on and off, and what's really nice is it's washable and reusable, and you can use it over and over again.
I was walking my dog Chewy down the street and she cut her paw on a piece of glass that was on the ground. So I took her to the vet and they gave her some bandages and that were very difficult to change, and she would always lick it and paw at it, and so I used one of the Healer Medical Booties and it was wonderful. She was able to play with me still, and she would run around and she didn't paw at it or lick it, and it was incredibly easy to change, but best of all, she didn't have to use one of those cones on her head.
After we created our first medical boots, we spent a year going around to the veterinarians and having them use them and test them. And the feedback that I had from the veterinarians is that they just loved them.
We at this veterinary hospital used Healers dog booties for a number of different reasons, and they work extremely well. The way they fit is just perfect. It's not too high, it's not too low, it's perfect.
Our next product that we created was the leg wrap, and we decided to create a leg wrap because the next most common injury is like a dew claw injury, or they might have you have a cut and scrape on the leg, or they have allergies so bad that they're licking their joints really bad. So you have to bandage that leg. What you've had to use up to this point is just wrapping it with gauze and vet wrap. And it can get very costly, and it's very difficult to stay on the dog's leg. So with our leg wraps, they hook as they wrap up. They're reusable. They won't slide down the leg at all. They have the gauze inserts that creates a non-adhesive bandage. They use the same technology as our medical boots. They breathe, they allow the proper airflow to the wounded area, and they wick away any type of moisture that might build up. And what's really great is they actually stay put. They also work with our medical dog boots. There are occasions where you may need to not only bandage the paw, but also bandage the leg, and by using both our medical dog boots and our leg wraps, they hook together and you can make one continuous bandage all the way from the paw all the way up the leg. They're designed in a way so that you can cut them to shorten them, or they'll hook together and make an even longer wrap if you need it. So now that we have a product line for rehabilitation of the pet, we thought we needed a product line that helps prevent the injury in the first place. So our first product that we created was Urban Walkers, a protective boot for the paw. And this boot was designed with the National Guide Dogs for the Blind. They called us to ask us to help them design a boot that would work with their dogs. So we spent a year with them testing, evaluating, learning about what works, what doesn't work, and that's how we created Urban Walkers. Our Urban Walkers is designed as an everyday walking boot, much like your tennis shoes that you would use, just for walking around the neighborhood, and it protects you from all environmental conditions.
I was walking my dog last summer, and the asphalt got very, very hot and actually burned his paws. I tried other shoes and boots and all, and they didn't fit. And finally, I went to the Urban Walkers. They fit perfectly. The dog was very comfortable. He never tried to remove them. It solved my problem completely.
Some of the key features of Urban Walkers is that it's very lightweight. It's designed much like our medical boots, where it wraps around so you get a very strong fit, uses the same high tensile strength hook so it grabs and it stays put. It has a rubber grip liner on the inside so that it does not twist when they walk. And the sole is very flexible, so the dog, as he walks, gets a very natural feel as he walks down the road. The sole is a non-slip sole, so as they're walking around, they won't lose their footing. Its height is designed in a way so that it's just right above the dew claw so that it will not cause injury to that dew claw. So this is a dog's dew claw, and it's critical on shoes that they come above the dew claw to protect it. So Urban Walkers are designed with the right and the left so that they go above the dew claw, so when you wrap the boot around, the dew claw is protected. One thing we learned from the National Guide Dogs for the Blind is that the front paws is larger than the back paws. So we decided to package our boots in pairs. This enables you as a customer to have more options when fitting your dog's boots. As a company, we are committed to you as a consumer to continue to create products that help you in the rehabilitation process for your pets, as well as protective devices to keep them from being injured.